Hi, Cole and Sammy.
Hi, hey.
Welcome to the interview. I'm very happy to have you on today.
We're not.
So, you two have been friends for quite a while, I've heard, and you both are very interested in music. So, what I want to know for our first question is how you two first met.
Well, it's a long story.
It's not.
Yeah, you're right, it's not. So, what happened, if I'm remembering this correctly, is that we were walking down a hallway. This was grade 7-ish. Our mutual friend Enoch was there.
Yeah, Enoch's a great trumpeter. He's fantastic.
He's really good. He actually should be the one in this interview, not him.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we were walking down the hallway, and Enoch stops by the locker to see Sammy. And he's like, "Hi, Sammy." And I'm like, "You're not Sammy. I don't know that name." And he's like, "I am Sammy. I've come from the United Arab Emirates." And I'm like, "Wow, that's really cool. What do you play?" And he says, "Saxophone." And that's the story of how we met. Ever since then, we've been really saxing it up together.
Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic trumpet player, but honestly, if I were to be, frank here, his vocal talents are quite top-notch. I remember the first time I met him, I really didn't know what to expect of him. All I could really see was just he had a Star Wars shirt on. It was quite interesting. I had watched a couple of the movies, but I by no means was a massive fan.
Unlike me and Jordan, who are massive fans of this universe, our favorite part, of course, is the jazz music, which is basically the Star Wars equivalent of jazz, which is very relevant since he's a jazz man.
Yeah, I am a jazz man.
So that's basically the story of how we met. Yeah.
I'll be completely honest. I really wish I didn't.
Me too.
That is such a wonderful story, guys. Thank you for
really
sharing. Okay. For our next question, how did you two start playing musical instruments?
Okay, that's an interesting question. You want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one. So, I grew up in the UAE, and they had a very, very different music program than what we have in Canada. Obviously, there were some similarities in we all played recorders, but the repertoire and the actual pieces we played were far different. I had no interest in, pursuing a musical anything at all, actually. I used to get 60s in the music class. I'd skip class on occasion, but, it just came with the time. I came to Canada, and I had no idea that we even had a music class. So you can imagine my surprise when my music teacher asks me what instrument I wanted to play. At age 11, I was really into memes and stuff, obviously, like most prepubescent boys. And, I think it was called the Epic Sax Guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've been sort of in an obsession with that guy for a while. So, the moment our music teacher, Miss Sweetan, told us, to pick our instruments, I instantly knew I had to choose a saxophone.
For me, as somebody who's mainly vocal, I've been just singing around since I was probably 2 or so. That's really it. I just was singing since a young age, and I just decided to pursue that a lot. One of my earliest memories is singing "O Canada" at my kindergarten graduation, which is a thing that sometimes happens here in Canada. Basically, yeah, I sung that, and I started singing more and more and more. I was in choirs from probably grade 3 upwards, and yeah, now I go to school for vocal.
My next question is specifically for you, Cole.
Oh, okay.
I have heard that you are working on your own album.
That's true.
Can you please tell us some more about that?
Okay. So basically I've been working on this album for probably a year now. The grand planned amount of songs is going to be 7. I've gotten around 3 finished, mixed, mastered, all that. It's going to be sort of a storytelling album, which is sort of, the idea of it is going to be that each song is going to progress a story that sort of runs in the background. So each song is sort of its own thing, it's its own bop. But overall, if you listen to the lyrics and you listen to the melody, there's themes and everything like that, that will sort of tell this grand story about a kid getting hit by a train and being sent on a little Dante's Divine Comedy sort of deal. I'm basically doing it on my own in my basement. I'm playing all the instruments, I'm singing all the lyrics. It's basically all just me, and I hope I can get it done in the next year or 2. So if you are interested, be on the lookout for that.
That sounds wonderful, Cole. I'll be definitely looking out for that album. I'm very excited to hear what you come up with.
No, you won't. You hate my music.
Sammy, this question is specifically for you.
Oh God, no.
You've been learning saxophone for quite a long time, and you've progressed quite significantly in that field. What I want to know is, what advice would you give to someone that is trying to learn a new instrument?
You want to take this one, Sammy?
No, actually, I don't, but I have to. So, basically, there are a few schools of thought. The primary school of thought is that you must go into a professional setting with a teacher and take a seat and learn some standard tracks, progress through, let's say, the Royal Conservatory. I think that's bull. What you really have to do is find something that you're genuinely passionate about. Find a track, maybe two. Look on YouTube for something that's like super cool. For me, it was, I believe, Careless Whisper for the saxophone. And what I ended up doing was just replaying it over and over again. I didn't know what sheet music was at that point. I had only been playing for like a week. So all I'd do is I'd play it by ear. I'd go second by second in the video, so that I could eventually, learn this song by ear. Not only did that help me with my ability to discern different tones from each other, it also gave me a sort of rewarding feeling as I started to learn this entire piece without even needing a teacher or a guide or even sheet music. I went back to school the next day playing this horribly out of tune, messed up, mangled version of Careless Whisper that everyone found stupid, but by God, if that wasn't the most entertaining thing I had done with my instrument, I don't know what would be.
Thank you very much for sharing, Sammy. I'm sure that advice would really benefit a lot of people.
No one's gonna watch this.
My last question is for both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you are very interested in the topic of music, but what I want to know is what is each of your favorite music genres and why?
Well, for myself, I'm a bit of an odd duck. An odd goose, you could say, but I don't really like gooses too much, so that would deeply offend me. But my tastes lie between Broadway and rock. I've always been a Broadway fan. I've seen Broadway shows since I was little. In fact, one of my first memories was, besides the memory of singing O Canada at my kindergarten graduation, which is a very Canadian thing, was seeing Wicked in Toronto in the theater. And I remember I'm sitting there and there's this giant dragon head above me. And the dragon head at the beginning of the show bends down, looks me down in the eyes and goes, and it shook me to my core. I was traumatized. And to this very day, I go into Broadway theaters hoping, praying that I will see that dragon head one more time. What about you?
Well, for myself, I am a massive jazz fan. I'd say, the thing I love most about jazz is how diverse it is. One might argue that jazz originated with classic American music, however then developing into the East Coast and the West Coast, then further diversifying across the entire globe from contemporary South American jazz.
Like Hermeta Pasquale?
Yes, or like experimental Norwegian jazz with Ronald Lagerstraat, or Japanese jazz with bands like Cassiopeia. I'll be completely honest, it's such a diverse and welcoming community. I'd say I wasn't even raised by my parents, I was more so raised by the jazz man. It's just such a beautiful soundscape that comes from the mixture of improvisation, the dissonant harmonies on occasion, and just the more human feel of every track that I find makes it my favorite genre of all time.
It was so wonderful to learn that about you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Wait, so are we free to go? Are we free to go?
Are we free finally? Can you put the gun away?
Please, are we free to go?
Are we?
Are we free to go?
I'm
Please, are we free to go?
You can.